Hey everyone, my name is Dex, and I really think we need to talk about something that has been just plaguing the gaming industry. Now, we all know that prices have gone up on a variety of games, moving from $60 to $70. But the real problem is that publishers are locking behind game features that enrich your experience behind these massive paywalls. A lot of features that used to just be commonplace in video games back in the day are now just things you have to pay for on top of the base price of the game. Now, two games come to mind when thinking about this. Now, Yakuza as a franchise has been around for a while now and is very well known and hugely successful. People love their games. Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth builds upon the Yakuza Like a Dragon franchise, obviously, and it was released on January 26th, but it was released with three editions. Firstly, the standard edition, which has the base game, which is 70 US dollars. Then you have the deluxe edition, which is $85, which includes a bonus dungeon. There you go. That's content right there. Outfits and other things of that kind, like cosmetic stuff, right? New Game Plus is also included in the deluxe edition. Then if we go even further into the Ultimate Edition, it has everything that the Deluxe Edition has, along with some special boosters and an in-game playlist that you can add to. Like, I guess they give you more songs. Also, you have more customization overall to your character and just, cosmetic things as usual, just extra bells and whistles, right? And you can get all of that for $109.99. Now, this is where it's starting to get scary, right? Remember back in the day, Elden Ring and Dark Souls is a franchise that is known for things like New Game Plus. And this has been a thing since way back in the day, like especially with like a lot of like Square Enix or Squaresoft titles. I think it was Squaresoft back in the day that allowed you to play New Game Plus once you buy the game. Like, you went into the store, you bought a $50 or $60 game, and then you got the whole game. And if you wanted to play New Game Plus, yeah, it's included in it. And what worries me is that we're hitting this point where it's kind of like if you're going to take a plane, right? Or if you're going to travel somewhere, and you have these different tiers. You have like economy, then there's comfort plus, etc. We're starting to see the same thing in gaming, where there are these experiences that are locked behind these tiers of payment. So you can kind of pay for a better experience. While I'm not necessarily completely against this idea, it does concern me when I think about, okay, well, back in the day, you would buy something for $60, all gamers got the same experience. There wasn't this weird social caste system. We were all sort of equal. We all get the same product. Now it's just you have a better experience for giving more money. The second game that I want to talk about is Skull and Bones. Now, Skull and Bones is set to release on February 16, 2024. It will be releasing at $60 if you get the standard edition, and you'll get a little pre-order bonus, of course, if you pre-order. And then premium edition is sitting at $90, which includes the base game, 3 days early access, a premium bonus pack, an art book and soundtrack, smuggler pass token, whatever that is, an in-game item, I'm assuming, plus the pre-order bonus. The problem is that you'll also get these 2 extra missions. Again, we're seeing this like gameplay being locked behind a significant price increase. $60 to $90. I mean, that's straight up another half of what you're paying, right? That's another 50% of the original price for 2 extra missions. Now, that obviously is a tactic to create some kind of FOMO, right? People are going to feel like, oh man, I'm not going to get the full experience unless I pay $90. And this to me is a problem. How are we letting this happen? I think we really need to put our foot down. And Ubisoft has come out straight up and said, okay, well, you're getting a quadruple-A experience. And now what this makes me think about is, well, what is a quadruple-A experience? Now, in order to figure out what a quadruple-A experience is, we need to think about, okay, well, what is a triple-A experience? Now, after searching on Wikipedia, a AAA experience in the video game industry is an informal classification used to classify video games produced and distributed by a mid-size or major publisher, which typically have higher development and marketing budgets than other tiers of games. AA games are mid-market video games that typically have some type of professional development, though typically outside of the large first-party studios of the major developers. These may be from larger teams of indie developers in addition to larger non-indie studios. And AA studios tend to range from 50 to to 100 people in size. To give you a sense of what a AAA game would be like something like Final Fantasy VII, which was released in 1997. Huge hit, right? It cost an estimated 40 to 45 million dollars to produce, and if you adjust for inflation, that comes out to around 73 to 82 million to develop, and it was the most expensive video game ever produced up until then. Now, Final Fantasy VII had undeniable quality. It became a staple in the gaming industry, and when I think about that, right, I think about what its effect on the gaming industry was. It correlated with the price of the video game, of how much it took to make it. When we think about Quadruple-A gaming, right? This is Ubisoft after all. Do we think that Skull and Bones is gonna have that effect, even a similar effect of Final Fantasy VII? If you're calling it a Quadruple-A game and you're spending that much money to develop it, I would hope it has some sort of quality. Those two don't necessarily have to correlate, but if I'm thinking about these companies throwing these big budgets, they should be making some pretty good games, right? Some damn good games if you're going to call something Quadruple-A quality. So my question would be, do you think Skull and Bones, to be called a Quadruple-A title, has even remotely the same impact as something like Final Fantasy VII? That's just a question I want to bring up. What are we doing when we're calling these games Quadruple-A? This to me is just a marketing buzzword that is going around just to make your product seem more valuable than it is. Companies do this all the time, but we have to be really careful with how we approach this moving forward. Remember when loot boxes came up, people were going crazy, right? And we let it happen. We just kind of took it. And it's gotten to this point where when we see loot boxes now, it's like, oh, thank gosh. Woo, thank you. Oh man, thank gosh there's loot boxes, right? That's how bad it's gotten, that we're looking at loot boxes as a great thing. And this is really, really, really concerning for me, you know, as somebody who's looking at the industry and wondering what we're doing here. And this is becoming an even bigger issue when we start to think about the fact that we don't even own the games that we're buying anymore. We pay for a license to be able to play these games. So this issue of ownership with digital media, which I talked about in a previous video a little bit with Funimation and Crunchyroll, is becoming an even bigger and bigger concern. They could take it away at any time. And I believe if you go to some stores to buy a physical copy, it doesn't even really have the game on it. It has like a code for you to go online to download the game from the store. In a future video, I plan on talking about ownership and, you know, how this is affecting us. And I want to go into it in more depth and give it a proper go. For now, I just wanted to bring this up to everybody. I think we need to tell people like, hey, if you don't want to see this kind of stuff, you should probably not play these games. Boycott the games. Otherwise, they're going to continue to keep doing what works. And you can't even blame them if people are eating it up. So if you find that this is an issue too, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Is this acceptable in the gaming industry? Do you think Skull and Bones is gonna be a great Quadruple-A experience? And what can we do as a community to better the pricing and gaming industry as a whole, if you in fact think that this is a bad thing? And if you don't think this is a bad thing, then let me know why. Anyway, I really love making these videos. I look forward to hearing all your answers. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.